News. This is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. Today, funeral services will be held for former Utah Congresswoman Mia Love. It'll be at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Institute of Religion on the campus of the University of Utah. Love passed away 2 weeks ago from brain cancer and has since received an abundance of tributes from former friends and colleagues. Utah Congressman Burgess Owens offered these words ahead of the moment of silence for Love on the House floor.
Our Utah communities mourn for the Love family. We pray that they find peace in Heavenly Father's love and comfort and solace in what Mia has meant to all of us.
Funeral services begin at 10 o'clock. You can watch it live on KSL News Radio's social media pages. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Trump will host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House today. ABC's Jordana Miller has more.
The two got on the phone over the weekend when the Israeli Prime Minister was in Hungary on a diplomatic visit. They talked a little bit about tariffs, and according to the Israelis, President Trump said, "Come to Washington, let's really talk about it." There's other issues on the agenda as well. So the Prime Minister will be meeting today at about 1 o'clock Eastern with President Trump.
Miller says the leaders will discuss the Gaza situation, among other things. Your money at this moment, down 202 points at the moment, which is about 0.5%. Coming up, we still have a few slow spots, but we've got gorgeous weather. Traffic and weather together coming up next. KSL News Time, 9:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Do you suffer from depression? The Department of Psychiatry at the University of Utah is currently seeking people between the ages of 18 and 65 who have depression to take part in a comprehensive treatment study. The goal of this study is to see if 2 naturally occurring supplements will improve depression in people living at higher altitudes. Participants will take the supplements for 8 weeks, and the study lasts 12 weeks in total. Participants must already be taking an SSRI or an SNRI medication for at least 8 weeks. Compensation will be provided to study participants. Again, if you are between the ages of 18 and 65 and suffer from depression that hasn't responded to usual antidepressants, the University of Utah is conducting a study that may help. For more information or to take part, please call 801-581-3475 or visit altitudedepressionstudy.com. That's 801-581-3475. or altitudedepressionstudy.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-810-3588. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588.
Everyone needs a checking account, so get the one with built-in benefits to complement your unique lifestyle. Mountain America's My Style Checking has perks no one can pass up. You'll enjoy sizzling restaurant deals, peace of mind mobile phone protection, timely telehealth access, built-in identity protection, and clutch loan rate discounts. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration or activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Advanced Window Products. Factory direct. Affordable windows. Call today. They're on their way. Financing available. Save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com.
Time for a check of traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account with built-in benefits. Here's Heather Kelly.
Well, drivers in Layton have some pretty big delays now on Antelope Drive. This is eastbound from the railroad tracks over to Main Street. It's due to a crash, still blocking the left lane. So that is what's caused the backups there. Then you still have a crash on the collector ramp of northbound I-15 just before the 7200 South exit. It's over on the left shoulder, and that is slowing everybody down back to 90th South, where you get on from I-15 Main over to that collector. Granite isn't worth the hype. CountertopFactoryLLC.com installs luxurious, durable laminate countertops you won't believe, all for about third of the price. See for yourself at CountertopFactoryLLC.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now. The high today is expected to reach 71 degrees. We drop into the 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday before heating back up to 82 on Friday. Right now it's partly cloudy and 49 degrees. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic, special coverage of the top national story.
And we begin this morning with a story that, quite frankly, I don't think anybody, Dave, can look away from. The profuse bleeding that continues this morning on the stock market. I think last time I checked, it was down like 5,000 points on the Dow in just a matter of days. And this has all come because since Trump announced his sweeping tariffs, what do you call it? I was off last week. He called it Liberation Day.
Yeah, liberation from your money. you no longer have the money in this. No, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Debbie. You say it's been Liberation Day. It's
bleeding
devastating.
Is what I've said.
It's bleeding. It's only down 100 points right now.
What?
100 points.
No, last night when I looked, the futures said it was down 1,700 points. And quite frankly, I freaked out because I am so much closer to retirement than you are, and I feel for those of us who are close to retirement or are already retired, and they're watching this as though they've fallen over a bungee jump platform, all right, and they're going toward the ground, but then the rope pulls them back up, and then it puts them back down, and boing, up and down, and that's how it has felt in just like 72 hours, Dave.
72 hours, try 72 minutes. It has been incredible to watch. Just this morning, it has been 1,500 down. It's been up 100 points. And right now, it's down. Literally, in the 30 seconds we've been talking, it went from 100 to 400 down. Your bungee jumping explanation is exactly what it's been today.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot over the weekend. And I've concluded that I'm tired of worrying about my retirement accounts. This has just been a nonstop worry. And it's not just these last few days. This last few days have kind of just internally gutted me emotionally with where things have been going. But it's been, for decades. If you've been working for a lot of years like I have been, you've been socking away, mustering away a little bit of money each paycheck to save for the day you can walk away from employment and be like, I'm retired, and now I can sustain myself on this little nest egg that I've squirreled away for the last 40 years. And then in just a few days, I watched what I would equate to be, Dave, 5 months worth of income from my 401k just dissolve. Maybe 6 months worth of income if I really wanted to be a super saver in retirement. Gone. I can't afford to do that very many days before I realize, okay, now another 6 months is gone, and then another 6 months is gone. And quite frankly, I'm scared. I'm scared in this moment. How do you feel about it?
This is one of those times where I want to double down.
What?
This is the time I want to put my money into the market because so often when we look at these, I'm not as close to retirement as you are.
You're 10 years younger.
I'm 10 years younger. I have a little bit more wiggle room. And when we see drops in the market, they are steep and they are severe. And then it builds itself up over months and years. But we have these bad days. We have these corrections in the market. And I can absolutely see where you're coming from. And everybody that is listening right now that is like wringing their hands, I feel you. And we know intellectually that we're in the stock market for the long haul, over decades, not days. But it doesn't make it any easier when you're watching tens of thousands of dollars evaporate.
My long haul isn't as long as it used to be. I felt the same way you did back when the crash happened in 2007, 2008. It was like after I picked myself up off the kitchen floor, crying, figuring I'm never going to be able to retire because the stock market just kept dropping and dropping and dropping due to what was happening on the housing market. You know, it was just this domino effect. I thought, I'll never be able to retire. I'll never be able to retire. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe if I just stop weeping for a moment, I can think this through and can come up with extra money to pour into the stock market. Now, of course, since then, it's just gone through the roof, right? But I really feel as though that the administration has been, dare I say, tone deaf to what Americans are feeling right now. Many Americans. And I'll just speak for myself because I'm, again, closer to retirement than you are. I'm nervous. I'm scared. And then yesterday, I turn on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker interviewing Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And here's what he said about retirees watching their 401ks and IRAs get drained when he was asked the question.
What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
Well, Kristen, I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. And, you know, in fact, most Americans don't have everything in the market. Most Americans in a 401k have what's called a 60-40 account. That is 60 of 40 accounts that are down 5 or 6% on the year. People have a long-term view. They have a program. That the reason the stock market is considered a good investment is because it's a long-term investment. If you look day to day, week to week, it's very risky. Over the long term, it's a good investment.
It is so hard to say take a long-term view when the short-term view is right there in front of your face.
When you're 75,
watching.
It's hard to say you're to take a long-term view too, Dave. I mean, she specifically asked him about retirees. Let's listen to the question.
What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and who've just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly?
Well, Kristen, I think that's a false narrative. Americans who want to retire right now, the Americans who have put away for years in their savings accounts, I think don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening.
This is the precise time when we should be looking at the day-to-day fluctuations so we can make sure that we're not losing tons of money in riskier investments in our 401ks and our IRAs. So I was totally taken aback and confused. And this is where I felt as though the administration, at least the Treasury Secretary, was being tone deaf in this moment to the plight of what retirees are going through. But maybe more people are like you than like me, Dave, in this moment. So we're going to take calls in just a minute. Are you like Dave? Do you feel pretty good about what's happening right now on the stock market because it gives you a chance to start buying in? Or maybe you're like me. You're scared and you're willing to admit it on the radio. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Looking forward to taking your live calls in about the next 4 minutes.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. I think when we look at the market so often, we want to be able to enjoy the benefits of an up market. We want to have those. We want to put our money in our stocks, and when the market surges, we want to see these big gains, 10, 12, 15%. We want to have that. But at the same time, in the same breath, we want to have the stability of bonds that don't give you a fraction of those gains. And we want this stability. We want the upside. And I think, again, it's almost unreasonable. There's a time and a place to be aggressive in the market and a time to be very, very safe.
I don't feel unreasonable at all. I feel very aware. But I do feel scared right now. But again, 10 years older than you are, Dave, close to retirement. I wonder if there's some retirees out there looking at their 401k or their IRA this weekend and sitting around the kitchen table and saying, okay, let's work through this fear together and figure out, A, how long this is going to go on, when things will start to level out. Is this just in response to the tariffs? And how do I play that game since I'm not an economist? So let's bring one on. Robert Spendlove, senior economist with Zions Bank. Thanks so much for jumping on the air with us this morning. Quick quick check of the stock market. It's the Dow is down. What is it, Dave? Is it up? Is it down? I can't tell from here. Dave's got the. Maybe you have it, Robert, on your.
Down
on
427.
It's down 427.
It's down.
Yeah, it was down 100.
Oh, down 889. I'm sorry, I refreshed.
Wow.
So what we're seeing is extreme volatility. So just this morning, we had the Dow swing 2,000 points on a rumor. The rumor was that Donald Trump was going to push out the tariffs for 90 days, and that caused this huge swing. And then the White House responded and said, no, it's not true. And so now the markets are back down again. But what we're seeing is extreme volatility, and we're seeing a lot of fear in the markets. The volatility index is up at levels that we haven't seen in years.
Robert, so often when you talk about fear, I think of my children, hey, Dad, check under the bed, make sure there's no monsters there. Is the fear real? Is it something that it's the monster under the bed that doesn't exist? What do you think?
Well, fear is what it is, right? I mean, people are feeling this. And I'll tell you, talked about people getting close to retirement. I spent an hour on the phone with a close family friend who's in that position. They're getting close to retirement, and they are watching the markets. And they're saying, what do I do? How do I position myself? And it's really easy for, an economist or a financial advisor to say, just ignore it and have your long-term plan. But when it's actually hitting you in the face, it's really difficult to do.
So how long, as a senior economist of Zions Bank, do you predict or do you think or do you know that this pain will continue?
Well, that's the struggle. Is there's a heightened level of uncertainty because what we're seeing is a total paradigm shift in our global markets. You can go back and you can say we shouldn't have been surprised because Donald Trump campaigned on this very issue. He said, he campaigned on tariffs. He campaigned on redoing the global trading system. But I don't think anyone understood how dramatic and how quick it would be. And especially in this period right now where we don't exactly know what's next. That's what's really gripping markets. And they're saying, if I don't know what's going to be happening in a day or a week or a month, then it's better just to move on to the sidelines and not be part of this.
Robert, I wonder if there's some of this, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't, enjoy the ups and downs and the potential in stocks and then complain about when they drop, because this is the very nature of stocks, right? You have some high highs, you have some low lows, and if you are retiring, shouldn't we be in more stable, consistent generating income instead of having it in the market?
Yeah, and that's the struggle. And by the way, it is important to have some perspective on what's happening right now. We're coming off 2 consecutive years of 20% increases in the stock market. For several months, the professionals have been saying, the market is overinflated. It's overbought. We can't justify the levels with earnings. And so there's been a prediction that the market's going to deflate. And so this is that deflation. The struggle, though, is when it's real and it's in your face. And it's really easy to say, well, 3 years ago, you should have diversified. And those people that haven't and that are exposed to this risk, it does feel real.
But is this a wild ride that I feel like we've been on for the last week? Is this mainly because of the Trump tariffs?
So the tariffs are the direct cause, but the bigger issue is when do the tariffs turn into contagion? So when does it start to push up? So right now it's just a market effect. It is not an economic effect yet. And just Friday we got a really strong jobs report. So the labor market's good. Inflation isn't heating up yet. We're not seeing anything in the data yet, but the fear is that this is changing it so quickly that it could cause an economic downturn, and that economic downturn could be not just nationwide, but worldwide. And then, once you start to have that contagion, it can really build on itself, and it could make things worse than than in that isolated situation.
And it becomes that self-fulfilling prophecy. Robert, thank you so much for joining us. Robert Spenlove, senior economist with Zions Bank.
We're talking about specifically just a few moments ago how I have felt scared about what I've seen in just the last couple of days. It feels like this rip the Band-Aid off approach has really, it's rocked my world. But Dave doesn't feel quite the same way I do. But for context, he's 10 years younger than I am. He's got much more of a runway left before retirement. And so we're asking for your phone calls. Are you like Dave? Do you feel good about what is happening on the stock market right now? And in fact, you just heard from Robert Spenlove, Zions economist, senior economist with Zions Bank, saying that we have seen a rock and roll swing even this morning.
I think, do we have calls right now?
Okay. We got calls. Let's go to it. Let's go to the phone lines. Oh, Rose from Farmington. Hi, Rose.
Hello?
How do you feel about it?
I just would like to ask any of those planners, economists, or whatever, when the perfect time is to take your money out, because it seems like when the market dips, they say, leave it in, it'll come back. And when it's high, they say, why would you want to take it out? Look how much money you're earning.
It's true.
So they just want your money, and they want to keep it as long as they can.
Yeah, it's and we aren't the experts, right? I mean, we aren't the experts. And I know for me, I'm exhausted from having to worry about this. But looks like maybe we're just going to have to keep worrying about it.
Well, and that's a great point, Rose. It's a very difficult decision to make. When we go off back-to-back 20% years, you're looking at it and you're thinking, hey, things are going great. I'm making tons of money. Do I really want to take it out? Right? If you'd taken it out a year ago when you were up 20%, you're like, this is amazing, fantastic. And then you missed out on another 20% because we had back-to-back great years. Then you're kicking yourself.
Yeah, it's a dilemma.
It's so difficult.
You made a good point there, Dave. It just feels like it's like the dilemma that never stops rolling around in our brains. Like, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the wrong thing? Am I going to lose a lot of money? Am I going to earn money? Am I going to miss out on money? Hi, Steve. You live in Orem, and you agree with Dave.
Well, in some respects, let's talk a little bit long term. If we didn't have this correction, in my opinion, the $200 trillion in unfunded mandate which we're headed towards, which is more than the entire world assets, and also $40 trillion in debt, it would be absolutely worse than what we're going through right now. And I think Trump, in my opinion, is doing the right thing, and we need to sit and wait. Because I'm retired, 78, and I do a little day trading, and I actually bought quite a bit of stock the last few days because I think it's going to be going up, and we need to just be patient, in my opinion.
Well, thanks for your call, Steve. Let's get to Jan in Mill Creek. You're in your 70s. You're working full-time, decided to retire, and now you're deciding to unretire.
Actually, I work part-time.
Okay, part-time.
And a couple of months ago, I decided now is the time. Everything looks great. And then I look at what has happened in the last few days and went, no, can't retire. And I'm not happy. I think that this is going to lead to a recession. We've all lived through recessions. It's not good. So, nope, I hope that they do something about it. I called some congressmen and senators this morning and left some messages, and hopefully they listen.
Jan, thank you for calling. And this is the difficult part about the markets is you're looking literally at your bank account drop day after day after day. And I feel for you, Jan, and I think
stinks, right?
This very point, right? This is real money, real people. Yeah. We also, I think, do a very bad job of looking at gains. Like, I had no idea over the last 2 years the market's up back-to-back years 20%, right? Because I'm like, oh, things are going well. I celebrate and kind of ignore the ups, but I hyper-focus on the downs.
Well, but Jan is actually having to unretire now. I mean, these are the kinds of major life decisions that people are making in just literally a matter of days, because things felt a little up and down since Trump took over, and they have been. The Dow has gone down significantly in the last couple of months, but not to the extent that we saw the historic drops late last week. And so people like Jan and others are sitting at the kitchen table and they're crunching the numbers, and their retirement plans are going flat out the window. Actually, they're flying out the window. And that's a scary place to be, especially when you're looking at being, 60, 70, and 80 years old. So I have compassion for you, Jan. I have compassion for you. And the fact that you took matters into your own hands today and decided to, email or reach out or call your representatives, good. We'll see if anything actually comes of that. We'll continue to track this story, getting back to it in the 11 o'clock hour. And this one's for you, Rose, in Farmington. We're going to have a certified financial planner on the air with us in the 11 o'clock hour to talk about, what do you do? What do you do?
You hear that? That's the sound your new water makes just before it gets to your bottle. It's the purest, cleanest, and healthiest water you can possibly drink. At Little Spring Water, it's simply nature in a bottle. Little Spring Water is a family-owned and operated bottled water company right here in Utah, nestled in a beautiful canyon in Bear Lake. This spring has been in the family for 5 generations, and now it can be in your home or office as well. No chemicals, no additives, just pure, clean, healthy water. And because Little Spring Water is local, you can get it at a fraction of the cost at your favorite grocery store. But did you know you can have it delivered right to the office? Give your employees something they can enjoy day after day. And while it's a great way to show appreciation, you should be warned. Once they get a taste of Little Spring Water, they won't ever want to go without it. It's just that good. Little Spring Water. Nature in a bottle. littlespringwater.com. Discover the timeless value at Duke's Jewelers, a local treasure since 1948. Whether you're searching for a unique engagement ring or need expert watch repair, Duke's has been serving the community for over 75 years. It's the perfect time to visit and explore the wide selection of custom designs and quality gemstones. The skilled designers at Duke's can bring your dream piece to life, while experienced jewelers handle repairs and modifications in-house. Duke's Jewelers takes pride in value pricing, ensuring you receive the best prices every day. Need an appraisal? The Duke's Jewelers AGS certified gemologist is here to help. Whether it's hand or machine engraving, or redesigning old favorites into something new, get personalized service for every occasion. Visit Duke's Jewelers and experience the difference of locally operated expertise and dedication. Duke's Jewelers in Springfield, Utah. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning is here to help. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, plus a free hallway for just $119. And for a whole home refresh, take 20% off upholstery cleaning. Unlike traditional cleaners, Zero Res uses patented ZR water, a powerful cleaning solution that lifts dirt and grime without harsh chemicals or detergents. That means your carpets and upholstery stay cleaner, longer, and dry in hours, not days. It's safe for kids, pets, and the environment. Plus, every cleaning comes with the Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, Zero Res will re-clean for free within 30 days. Don't miss out on these limited time offers, because spring cleaning starts now. Get started today at zerores.com and mention KSL to lock in your deal. That's zerores.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, Let's go, Mo. Available at participating dealers.
On the surface, it seemed like just another Cinderella story.
A team that was predicted to finish dead last is now waiting to play the first round of the playoffs.
But Real Salt Lake's 2021 playoff run was so much more than what happened on the pitch.
Our club is burning to the ground.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top local story this hour. The president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced plans to build 15 new temples during this weekend's General Conference, including one in Spanish Fork. The announcement came after President Russell M. Nelson invited people to take steps to increase their confidence before God.
As we go to our Heavenly Father with increasing confidence, we will be filled with more joy.
The Spanish Fork Temple marks Utah's 32nd temple either announced, under construction, or currently operating. The woman accused of killing her husband and then writing a children's book about grief is in court today. Corey Richens is facing charges of aggravated murder and attempted murder. Her court appearance is scheduled to start at 9:30. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. One of the stock market's key indicators is sparking fears in investors. ABC's Mike Dubusky reports.
The volatility index, also known as the VIX, has reached its highest level in 8 months. The indicator measures how variable investors expect the markets to be over the next 30 days, which is why some also call it the fear gauge. Analysts see any reading over 30 as a prediction of high volatility. It's now over 60.
The last time the VIX was this high was in August after Japan raised interest rates. Your money at this moment. Speaking of that, the Dow has been down the most of the morning. Right now, it's down 2.3%, 915 points to 37,399. Coming up, it's going to be warm today. It's going to be warm tomorrow. It's going to be great this week. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time is 9:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Springtime and summer's just right around the corner. If you're thinking about losing some weight, let me tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss and how great it was for me. And I've had a lot of friends join the program as well, and they just love giving me the updates. Like, Dave, I've lost so much weight. Many people will lose 20 to 30 pounds on the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program in just a month or two. They told me early on, they said, we have the secret to losing up to a pound of fat per day on this program. There's a 60-day reduction phase, so just a couple of months where you got to crack down, really look at your eating habits and what you're doing. And with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I lost 57 pounds in 60 days, and it was incredible to get on that scale every single morning and just see these fantastic results. So if you're interested, Salt Lake City Fat Loss doesn't have any injections, doesn't do any surgery. So reach out to them. Find out for yourself if this is a good fit. You're going to get an extra $200 off the program if you reach out right now. Just go to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Traffic and weather together now, brought to you by Mountain America's MyStyle checking account with built-in benefits. Let's check in with the traffic center and Heather Kelly.
We're still dealing with some slowdowns on the collector ramp of I-15 northbound between Sandy and Midvale. It's due to a crash still blocking the left shoulder just before you get to the 7200 south exit on that collector. That's really the only big delay you have, although there is another crash up in Ogden. It's on Harrison Boulevard near 30th Street, but it's over on a right shoulder, not really causing problems. But if you do see some issues that we haven't talked about, let us know on the KSL Mountain Home Services text line at 57500. Find out more about how your kitchen or bath can be the kitchen or bath of your dreams in just 3 days. Just visit 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, the high today expected to reach 71 degrees. We drop into the 60s for Tuesday and Wednesday before heating back up to 82 on Friday. Right now, it is partly cloudy and 52 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
1 month from now, at least here in Utah, if you are using food stamps to purchase food for your family, you will no longer be able to buy soda with food stamps.
Soda is out, and I'm here for it. It makes actually a lot of sense to me when we're talking about food stamps. Why are we buying candy? Why are we buying soda? Why are we buying potato chips? Like, don't get me wrong, we all eat it. I drink more soda than anybody I know.
Say,
like,
this is okay. Just quick time out.
It sounds hypocritical.
It does, because Dave, you drink more soda than anybody I've ever known.
For sure.
Yeah, it's Diet Coke, right?
Yeah, it's diet poison, right? It's terrible.
You just suck it down.
I do.
All day. And here you are on the radio saying that people who use SNAP benefits should not be allowed to buy soda, even diet soda.
Yeah, no, it's all these carbonated beverages, and if it's carbonation, it has. This one is out, and the reason I'm okay with it is if you want to eat Skittles or Reese's peanut butter cups or potato chips, that is totally fine. I have absolutely no problem with that. And you want to drink Diet Coke? Buy the gallons. That's totally fine. But food stamps, SNAP benefits are there to make sure that you are fed, right? That we cannot have people starving in this country. We have a moral obligation, absolutely, to make sure people aren't starving. Sour Patch Kids is not doing that.
But that's not what's banned, right?
Correct.
Candy did not. So Utah legislature steps in, just for a little bit of background here, this last session, and debates the idea of banning candy and soda from being able to be purchased if you are using SNAP benefits. And they land on soda.
Yes, and that was maybe perhaps a little bit of a compromise, but 10% of these SNAP benefits are being used on soda and candy. So a huge amount, billions and billions of dollars federally across the country are being used on soda and candy. And this one just, again, is focused on soda. But nevertheless, I think it brings up a very good conversation. I think we should address this and look at what we can and can't buy with food stamps. Because, Debbie, as much sense as it makes to not buy soda, it makes absolutely zero sense to me that with these very same food stamps, you can't buy a roaster chicken. The roaster chicken that costs $5.
Or the rotisserie chicken,
Yeah.
like at Costco.
Exactly.
And I see them at all the grocery stores.
Oh,
yeah. Wow.
And how great are they? Like, I probably buy one a week, right? You shred it, you use it a million different ways, sometimes for enchiladas, for salads, for whatever it might be. This is probably the easiest, cheapest, healthiest option out there. And we say no to the rotisserie chicken, but we say yes to Diet Coke. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
So you pulled I'm looking at this list you pulled off of, what is it, SNAP Benefits website. What is eligible to be purchased with food stamps, what's not eligible. Okay, let's just put that on the back burner for now, because we do know that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy is coming to Utah today. He's anticipated to be here this afternoon, and he's going to be actually acknowledging several laws that were passed by the state, including the one that takes fluoride out of our drinking water in at least, Salt Lake County and Davis County, and those are the two counties that had fluoride in drinking water. And he's putting, he's on his Make America Healthy Again campaign. And he's been actually traveling the country with this message about what you're speaking of, Dave, soda.
We are encouraging governors from all over the country that allow the SNAP program, the food stamp program, to exclude soda drinks and some other substances that we know are dangerous to our children. We believe in choice. Every American who wants to eat a donut ought to be able to eat it or drink a Coke. But the federal taxpayer should not be paying to poison our children.
And that's really the argument right there, is as taxpayers, if we believe in this program, should we be subsidizing or should we be fully paying for some of these foods that have no benefit whatsoever as far as just you like the way it tastes, right? It's not adding to your health. In fact, it's hurting your health. Like, I don't think anyone's making the argument that Sour Patch Kids are helping your health, or, copious amounts of Coke is helping your health, even though we do like it, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't like it. It's just, what's the purpose of food stamps? Is it to give a treat, or is it to feed you?
I think it could be a balance. I mean, I think if they're tracking this stuff, I'm sure there's some AI program out there that can track how much soda somebody's buying with food stamps. And maybe they, need to be contacted, be like, okay, you're buying way too much soda. What's up? You're not buying enough healthy stuff. You're not in the produce section enough. You're spending way too much time in the soda aisle. What's up with that? So some audits. But I want to give you something else to chew on, for just a moment. I worked for the federal government. I've talked about that before on the show for 4 years. And when we traveled, we got a food stipend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I fly all over the country, mainly to Montana and Idaho and D.C., because that was our Salt Lake, Idaho. Montana was our whole area, and D.C. and Maryland maybe. And they paid me when I went. Or they reimbursed my food, right? It was, I don't remember what it was. Let's for argument's sake, it's $25 a day or something, maybe it's $30 a day. When you travel, you get this stipend, okay? You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, they don't care what you buy it on.
They don't care,
Yep.
but you're reimbursing me for that, okay? You're paying for my meals when I'm on the road as a federal employee. Now, we know the federal government is dwindling with employees right now, but that's not the point of this. The point is that where's the ban on federal workers buying soda when they go to a restaurant, which, by the way, the markup on that is incredible, right? Yeah. I mean, you go $3.50 or $4 for a glass of soda. There's no ban there. There's nothing that says I can't order a side of cheesecake the size of my face or a big bowl of, high-fat ice cream that I lap up at the dinner, after dinner. There's nothing that says I can't buy a dozen donuts that I'm aware of to eat for breakfast.
Is there a restriction on alcohol?
Yes, I believe there was.
Okay.
I don't remember. It's been 15 years since I worked, but I'm sure. There usually is on stipends like that, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so
there are some restrictions even within...
Not for soda.
Yeah, not for
soda.
soda.
We're talking about a soda restriction. So, on point with the soda restriction for SNAP benefits, isn't it ironic that taxpayers are still reimbursing, I believe, employees of the government to drink soda all they want?
Yeah, but I guess the difference I see is you're an employee, right? People that are on food stamps are not employees, right? They haven't been hired. That's not the expectation. It is just one of these benefits. You're struggling. You need some help. And I'm happy that we give it. I think that's something that we should do in this nation. But we also want to make sure that the money is well spent.
So what are the eligible foods on this list that you found, and then the foods that are ineligible that you find so ironic here?
Quite frankly, there's very little that is ineligible. So instead of listing just all the things that you can buy, it's probably easier to limit out or show what you cannot buy with your SNAP benefits. Hot prepared foods. So this is the rotisserie chicken that I was talking about. You can't get the rotisserie chicken. Food that's meant to be eaten in the stores. So if you walk by the deli and you have hot foods like some fried chicken or corn dogs or hot dogs, mashed potatoes. Yeah, those. But
I love those mashed potatoes.
Oddly enough, the pre-made salads, the cold cut deli sandwiches, those are fine.
Really?
So those are fine. But if it's hot and warm and you can eat it right there, then that is not fine. You can't buy paper products, toilet paper, paper towels, toiletries, alcohol, tobacco, pet food. Those are some of the restricted things. And while I understand the argument to say, hey, you know what, we want to feed people, we want to make them healthy, or we want to give them healthy options, so let's remove some of the chips and crackers and cookies, candy, chocolate, because that's also being considered. Here in Utah, it's just the soda, but they are absolutely looking at some of the sugary candy as well.
So do you think it's a bit ridiculous that people cannot buy these hot rotisserie chickens with food stamps?
Sure. Yeah, that is food. It is healthy. It is affordable. That makes all the sense in the world. So while I will say it makes sense to target and maybe get rid of soda and maybe get rid of candy, it makes no sense to me that you're getting rid of the rotisserie chicken. All right, let's make sure that if we're really talking about feeding people good, healthy food, then let's make sure we give them access to good, healthy food.
So let's ask our listeners, 801-575-TALK. Do you think that families who are using SNAP benefits, using food stamps, should be allowed to buy that rotisserie chicken that's already been made and piping hot at the deli with their food stamps? 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Let's get your live phone calls on the air next.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's springtime in the Rockies, and it's time to apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment. A Revive treatment with fertilization, aeration, and good watering is the key to building stronger roots for a healthy, lush green lawn. Revive fertilizes and moves water and nutrients deeper into the soil. Take advantage of spring storms with an application of Revive now. Protect yourself from drought later this summer and skyrocketing water costs. With Revive, if you water 2 times a week, it's like watering 4. Apply Revive Organic Soil Treatment today. It works.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. Don't miss Cold's new Season 3, where I look into the unsolved disappearance of Cherie Warren, a woman last seen leaving her job at a Salt Lake City office in 1985. Police cast suspicion on Cherie's estranged husband and boyfriend, but never made any arrests or recovered Cherie's remains. Find Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, anywhere you get your podcasts.
David Dujanovic.
Food stamps and hot rotisserie chicken. Dave wanted to talk about this morning on the heels of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. visiting Utah, Health and Human Services Secretary here in Utah today. To talk about a number of things, including likely, of course, we don't know for sure, it's at 3 o'clock this afternoon exactly what he's going to talk about, but eliminating soda from being purchased with SNAP benefits here in Utah, which the Utah legislature did. And Dave found some irony with the rotisserie chicken situation.
Yeah, I can buy a ginormous bag of Sour Patch Kids. Totally fine. Like, they won't even bat an eyelash. They're like, sir, would you like 2 bags of Sour Patch Kids? Like, swap that one out for a bag of Skittles, right? That's totally fine. But if I were to throw a rotisserie chicken on there, you're like, oh, sorry, we don't pay for that one. Like,
so that's,
okay.
That's forbidden under the SNAP benefits program.
Yes.
To buy anything hot like at the deli, like a side of hot mashed potatoes. I love those deli mashed potatoes. I don't know what they put in those things.
But do you know what is fine? Potato salad. Cold, prepackaged potato salad, totally fine. That was sliced deli meats. Totally you can get the sliced deli meats. That's totally fine as long as they're cold. If you heat up your Italian sandwich to eat in the store right there, nope, that one's banned.
I mean, it's hard enough, I would think, for families to be on food stamps. And I did interviews many years ago with families, actually people who worked in public service here in Utah, who were faced with this because their pay was so low at the time, back in the 90s. The idea of having to sign up for food stamps was emotionally difficult for them. And so then you finally go through the process, you do all that, and then you read this list, and you're like, what can I do? What's going to give me the big at the check stand? What's not? But the rotisserie chicken thing, we thought that was just wild, quite frankly. So we're taking live calls, 801-575-TALK. Do you think that rotisserie chickens and other hot food items should be allowed to be purchased with food stamps?
Tracy and Sandy, what do you think, Tracy?
Yeah, I think that's crazy that you can't buy a rotisserie chicken. I totally agree. I am a little bit scared of RFK Jr. I don't agree with fear-mongering, and I think just telling people that, all these things are bad is crazy. We do have an FDA. There is evidence-based research that, these foods are not harmful that are on the shelves of the grocery store. But we do need to readjust this list and make sure that they can get good, healthy foods and that,
Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think Dave was a test case for diet soda, Diet Coke. I think if there was going to be any issues with the amount that he consumes, he would be a shining example. Linda in Salt Lake. You told our producer, Caitlin, you said people on SNAP benefits aren't always unemployed, but they do need help, huh?
Yeah, some people, when I was a young mother, I worked full time, but my income, was very low, and I'm not on them anymore. My kids are grown, but when I needed that helped me out a lot, and I call myself basically a pretty healthy, cooking mother and would take care, but it was always nice to be able to buy soda once in a while, which, I didn't buy it very often, but some people, they just buy it like rarely. And that if they're going to ban soda, I mean, sugar, ice cream, like you pointed out, Skittles, like the guy pointed out, all that kind of stuff is loaded with sugar. Yeah. But, every once in a while, my kids I'd be so glad to be able to buy them, a treat or something. And also, one more thing, I agree with what you said. You said, you said that the federal employees are reimbursed.
Yeah, well, when I was there, I was reimbursed when I worked for the federal government, and I don't remember anybody coming over and saying, did you order a diet soda with lime in that with your dinner while you were in Billings, Montana? I just got a stipend, a travel stipend for food.
Does it concern anybody to find out that soda is the number one purchased item from SNAP? The New York Times, the USDA has reported on this, that it's the number one purchased item.
Yeah, I'd like to know why.
No, it's because it's amazing. I love soda. I get it.
I don't drink soda at the rate you do, so I don't see eye to eye with you on that. Hi, Debbie. I love your name. First of all, happy Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. What's your take on this rotisserie chicken?
I get a little bit two-sided on it. I was telling Caitlin that, we spend so much time on the 10% that are supposedly abusing it. Realistically, just from knowledge that I've seen, people don't always spend that on food. They sell that stamps for cash. So, and back in the day, I was telling Caitlin, I was in a state office run, and I would tell my people, you waste your time on the person that you think is a criminal and making all these fraudulent documents, and the person that has already created the fraud has gone out the door, told you how cute you were, how had a great conversation, and you didn't think twice. So I just feel like, we oversee some programs that are just really, and yet we're always asking the general public. There's a plastic can at every counter. Help feed the kids. Help feed these families. Help this. We're dealing out of our own pocket.
So it sounds like you're concerned about the fraud within some of these programs.
What does surprise me when we're looking at some of these lists of what is and what is not allowed, and I get it. I understand on some level that these food stamp programs, you don't want folks going through the fast food, purchasing cheeseburgers, right? I understand that. But there's just some inconsistency here where some food, it makes all the sense in the world. The rotisserie chicken makes all the sense in the world. But how about this? I looked on Papa Murphy's website, and because it's a take-and-bake pizza and it's fresh ingredients and the dough is not cooked, you can use your SNAP benefits for Papa Murphy's, but you can't Pizza Hut. Right? That's where I think people are looking at it like, okay, why is it yes to some things and no to others? As long as you bake it in your oven, then it's fine. But if it's baked at a grocery store, it is not. It's tricky, but I think ultimately when I look at it, I think we just want to make sure that we're trying to figure out what's the purpose of food stamps. What are we trying to accomplish? Is soda the best? Should that be the number one thing purchased with food stamps? Is that okay? And I see why Utah said, no, it's not. We're going to ban it, and that starts in a month.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
While the weather's mild, it's a perfect time to get your air conditioner ready for summer. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time you're outside, take a look at your air conditioner. There's a few things you can do to avoid common breakdowns that happen at the beginning of the season. If you covered it for the winter, uncover it. If the bushes and shrubs are growing around it, make sure you trim them back about 18 to 24 inches. If the coils are dirty, rinse them off with your garden hose. Then go inside and make sure you have a clean filter. If you do all that and find yourself with an air conditioner that isn't working, consider calling Any Hour Services. We have an air conditioner troubleshooting special for any homeowners listening. For only $29, we'll send a certified HVAC technician to your home to troubleshoot why your air conditioner isn't working. Then they'll give you a summary of their findings and present you options to repair it. To find out why your air conditioner isn't working for only $29, call Any Hour Services today at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Myth. You might have heard that you need to spend a fortune these days to get a powerful computer. Correction. At PC Laptops, we wanted to prove that wrong. So here's the most amazing deal that we've ever done at PC Laptops for you in over 30 years. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Take one home today. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
When divorce places your home, finances, or kids in jeopardy, Cordell & Cordell is here to fight to protect your interests. Cordell & Cordell is committed to advocating for your rights in divorce and family law matters, providing the legal experience to fight for success. Call today for a consultation and details on our military service member pricing.
Offices in Midvale and Clearfield. 1412 South Legend Hills Drive, Suite 200, Clearfield, Utah, 84015. Online at CordellCordell.com.
How does a soccer club born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson, and in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is back in Utah to celebrate some of the state's newest laws. KSL News Radio's Verl Johansson reports.
The last time Kennedy was in the Beehive State, he was campaigning for president in the 2024 election. KSL.com reports this trip is part of a 3-day visit to Western states to discuss laws that line up with his health agenda. Today, Kennedy will meet with Utah's lawmakers to talk about bills like the fluoride bill that bans cities from adding fluoride to the water, and House Bill 402 that keeps certain food additives from school lunches. Kennedy and Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz, along with other lawmakers, will hold a press conference today at 3. Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
We've also learned that U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be in Utah today. He will meet with UTA leaders. Senator John Curtis will join the secretary for a ride on the Front Runner, where the two will reportedly discuss Utah's approach to streamlining projects and how their process helps expedite the permitting process. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. As Wall Street investors continue to react to the Trump administration's new tariffs, ABC's Mike Dubusky says banks are considering the probability of a U.S. recession.
Goldman Sachs now says the likelihood of the country entering a recession in the next year is 45%. That's up from 20% just last month. Goldman is also downgrading its GDP growth forecast. It comes days after J.P. Morgan similarly raised its recession prediction from 40 to 60%. S&P Global